If you're anything like me, you've come across a ton of information out there on how you can improve your focus and your productivity throughout the day. And if you're anything like me, you've realized that a lot of that stuff doesn't really work for you. And what I have found is that if I take care of my morning, the rest of the day sort of falls into place. Which is why in this video, I want to share with you 4 different things that I do every single morning that has significantly improved my focus and my productivity throughout the day. But before we get to that, if you're new here, my name is Jorge Calauz. I'm a business lawyer based in Florida, specializing in high-stakes lawsuits, and in this channel we explore the principles and the strategies to help us live more productive, meaningful, and fulfilling lives. The first of the 4 things I do every morning is a morning meditation and stretch. Now this was one that when I first tried it out, I didn't think it was going to have that much of an impact on my productivity, but I said forget it, I'm just going to try it for a long enough period of time, and despite me thinking that it wasn't going to create many results, I stuck to it for a long enough period of time and realized how many results it actually produced. And when I say results, I'm primarily talking about my ability to focus and my ability to remain calm throughout the day. Now, I combine meditation and stretching because I like the calmness aspect of meditation, particularly starting your day with meditation. One of my favorite ways to describe the benefits of meditation was shared by the late great Kobe Bryant, who said that when he meditates in the morning, he feels like he's in control of the day, but when he doesn't, he feels like he's sort of chasing the day. Now, I take that benefit of meditation and I add to it the other benefit, which is the benefit of stretching, and more specifically stretching and deep breathing. And the benefit that I get from stretching and deep breathing is that as we take on stress throughout our lives, that creates certain holding patterns in our muscles. The stress that we feel mentally has manifestations physiologically. And so for me, for example, I notice that I hold a lot of tension in my shoulders and my neck and in my hips and my buttocks. And so those are areas that I focus on every single morning to help release that stress, because even though the psychological stress might be gone, the physical manifestation of that stress might still be in your body. And so I do that every single morning for 10 to 15 minutes, and it has completely changed how calm and how focused I am throughout the day. I notice when I don't do it, the level of calmness and focus that I experience throughout the day is so much lower than in the days where I do it. The second thing I do every day is I get some morning sunlight. Specifically, I go on a walk with my dog, Gigi. And I do this for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, there's a lot of research that has shown how beneficial getting morning sunlight, particularly in the first 1 to 2 hours of the day, is for you. In short, it helps regulate your mood and regulate your circadian rhythm. If you don't know, your circadian rhythm is the internal 24-hour clock that all of us have. And this 24-hour cycle tells your brain and your body when it's supposed to release certain chemicals. So for example, you release more dopamine and less serotonin at the beginning of the day, and you release more serotonin and less dopamine at the end of the day. You also release melatonin at the end of the day, which is the chemical that tells your brain and your body that it's time to go to sleep. And so when you have a well-regulated circadian rhythm, a well-regulated 24-hour cycle, your body knows exactly when it's supposed to release each of those chemicals. And when it knows that, it's not confusingly releasing chemicals at parts of the day where it doesn't really benefit you. When your 24-hour cycle is consistent, your mood improves, your mood is regulated, and your focus improves. And the research has consistently found that getting morning sunlight exposure in the first 1 to 2 hours of the day helps regulate your circadian rhythm, because it helps tell your body that the day is beginning. Another thing that the morning sunlight exposure does is that it increases cortisol at the beginning of the day, which you might say, well, I don't want my cortisol increased because cortisol is the stress hormone. But when cortisol is increased in the beginning of the day, research has shown that cortisol is reduced for the rest of the day. And so doing things like getting morning sunlight at the beginning of the day, or exercising at the beginning of the day, or cold exposure like a cold plunge in the beginning of the day, all those things spike dopamine at the beginning of the day, and that causes lower cortisol release throughout the rest of the day. Now, if you want the flip side of this, light exposure during the evening is also important. To kind of keep it simple, if you have a lot of bright lights, especially, blue light from the phone and from the computer also does this. If you have a lot of bright light late in the evening, it can actually suppress the release of melatonin. And so even though it's time to go to sleep, your body doesn't know that that it's time to go to sleep. And that dysregulates your circadian rhythm. And so when we can control what kind of light we expose ourselves to, so for example, morning sunlight in the first 1 to 2 hours of the day, and low angle, dim lighting from lamps, for example, at the end of the day, we can regulate our circadian rhythm, which leads to better sleep, and it leads to higher daytime focus and productivity. Third thing that I do is I do a digital fast for the first hour of the day. I also do it for the last hour of the day so I can get better sleep, but since we're talking about focus during the day, I'll talk more about the fast for the beginning of the day. I do not go on my phone for the first hour of the day. And the reason for that is that I want to start my day by focusing on me. I don't want to start the day by instantly giving my attention to everybody else, whether that's social media or emails or texts, whatever it may be. That's the first reason. The second reason is I don't want to send my brain immediately upon waking into a frenzy of dopamine. The third reason is I don't want to send my brain immediately upon waking into a bunch of different directions, scroll, my attention's here, my attention's here, my attention's here. I don't like starting my day that way. And the best way I've found to prevent all of these things from happening is to just not use my phone at all for the first hour of the day. And so when I don't have access to my phone for the first hour of the day, I start my day focusing on myself, focusing on what it is that I want to get done for the day, focusing on my meditation and my stretching, focusing on instilling a sense of peace and a sense of calmness that I will hopefully carry out throughout the day. That to me is a much better way of starting the day than instantly going on your phone and sending your brain in a bunch of different directions. So then for the rest of the day, your brain is in a bunch of different directions and you can't focus. And so what you do in the morning highly contributes, particularly the first 1 to 2 hours of the day. What you do in that time is highly determinative of how the rest of your day is going to go. And so we must really protect that first 1 to 2 hours, which means, sorry, social media, you're not coming into my life for those first 1 to 2 hours. And then the last thing I do is I start with the frog. Now there's a famous book called, I think it's called Start with the Frog. I just looked for it. It's actually called Eat That Frog. And the premise of that book is that you want to do the most important thing first. Now, two reasons for this is because number one, your willpower and your focus are at their highest at the very beginning of the day. And number two, if you get the most important thing done, then you can feel a sense of success that you can carry with you throughout the rest of the day. There's also another really good book called Deep Work, which discusses how much distractions actually affect our work quality. And so I like to have a deep work session at the beginning of the day before the rest of the world starts asking me for things and telling me things. And that deep work time is usually from 8 to 9. And I kid you not that from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. it is the most wonderful time of the day because nobody is distracting me, nobody is bothering me, and I can just focus on my work. And I get more work done from 8 to 9 a.m. than I get done from 3 to 6 p.m. Not to mention that the quality of the work is also significantly higher. Now, if you like this video, feel free to join the community, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment letting me know what you liked and what you want to see more of. It helps me make other videos. And if you got value out of this video, I think you'll also like this video right here on the 2-minute rule that keeps me productive all day long. And as always, if you want more resources, feel free to check out the link in the description box below where you can go to my website and download your free copy of the 5-step morning routine, a quick start guide to high performance and peace of mind. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video.